A bill introduced in Congress known as H.R. 5, or the so-called Equality Act, represents the biggest threat to religious freedom I've ever seen. This bill, if passed and signed, will ultimately transform the culture with a very radical and unforgiving LGBT agenda. And specifically, the bill shockingly states that you cannot raise as a defense or a claim the religious free exercise rights that we all enjoy as Americans. I've never seen anything quite this drastic. This bill will ultimately affect churches, employers, individuals, and schools around the country. Think of it this way. This bill will amend, if passed, federal law that includes non-discrimination on the basis of race. So what you cannot do legally respecting race, you will not be able to do legally respecting anything related to the LGBT agenda. So for example, churches even, as well as religious organizations and employers, even bed and breakfasts and so many others, would not be able to, under current law, segregate between the races. You can't have a bathroom for one race and another bathroom for another race. You can't have a shower for certain races and a shower for other races. In this particular situation, what you cannot do respecting race, you will not be able to do respecting the LGBT agenda. So even churches will not be able to prevent boys or men from using the female restrooms, locker rooms, or shower rooms. Overnight stays, whether it's a mission trip or some other kind of sporting event, whether it's in a school, a church, or some other kind of situation, will not be able to segregate the young children or the adults or anybody based upon gender. You can't have a floor or a part of a wing for boys and another one for girls. You in fact must allow a boy or a man to be able to sleep with, bunk with, women or girls, and vice versa, if they say that they identify as the opposite sex from their birth sex. And what will happen is non-complying churches will lose their tax-exempt status. In the same way that if churches had a racially discriminatory policy, they also, even now, could lose their tax-exempt status. Again, what you can't do regarding race, you will not be able to do regarding the LGBT agenda. So if you have a biblical doctrine about marriage being the union of a man and a woman, if you perform marriages or baby showers, or if you have a policy regarding human sexuality that is supposed to be between a man and a woman in marriage, that can be your belief, but it will not be able to be your practice. If you practice on that belief, if you actually carry out that belief, it will be considered like racial discrimination as an equivalent, because what you can't do regarding race, you will not be able to do regarding LGBT. So you'll have to open up your churches, yes, even your sanctuaries, to same-sex weddings or same-sex baby showers, or allow individuals in your second grade school or elsewhere who are transsexual or transgender, those who dress like the opposite sex and want to be perceived as, with pronouns as well, the opposite sex. You'll not be able to prevent them from teaching your children. Schools, for example, religiously affiliated schools and colleges and universities will lose their tax-exempt status, and they'll also lose their accreditation if they do not comply with this radical LGBT agenda. This is a bill that I've never seen that literally would transform the culture. And it specifically says religious freedom is not a defense. You need to learn more about H.R. 5, the so-called Equality Act, because it will be a wrecking ball, not only to churches, but to employers, to individuals, and to even curriculum. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org/HR5. That's lc.org/HR5. Now, this bill, we can stop it, I believe, in the United States Senate. We must stop it there, because this will transform federal law. It will affect every place of gathering, every religious organization, every church in America, every artistic artist like a baker or a florist, Every business, every homeowner that rents out a room to, for example, a college student or someone else, every bed and breakfast, every shelter for women, where you would allow women to be in a place to have shelter from domestic abuse, you'll have to allow men to be there as well. It will affect adoption. It will affect and transform foster parenting. If you do not affirm this radical LGBT agenda, you will be ineligible to be a foster parent. Every city, every county, every state, every aspect of our country will be radically transformed and affected. I encourage you to go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org/HR5, and make your voice known to your United States senators. They have a rule there of 60 votes before they actually vote on a bill, and I believe that is where we can stop it. I think we can stop it short of getting those 60 votes. If we do not stop it there, it likely would pass in the Senate, and it certainly will pass in the U.S. House. That's where the firewall is, and it is so radical that I think even those who might otherwise support this kind of amendment to the law may not support it. Why? Because it will decimate churches, and it prohibits any church, any person, any employer from raising the free exercise of religion as a valid defense. That is radical, never before happened in our history. We need to pray and we need to act. Go to lc.org/HR5 and act today. Time is of the essence.